Hello everyone, it's Thalan McRom, and we're back in Planetbase to continue our latest playthrough. Figured we would continue on for a bit, because we're still trying to get to a fully sustainable base, which means we need to get a multi-dome in. Nope, I don't want that. A lab. And we're also going to need to get a factory in. We have our farming running nicely. Starting to stay on top of food. So the main thing now we're going to need is we're going to need to get to where we're producing our own medical supplies. And then our own spare parts. It's kind of the next major step. And once we get to that, we'll be good to go. So I'm going to let this run for a bit. And let them get some of the construction projects they've got going on finished. But right now we're trying to finish building out our farms a little bit and our beds. We got 14 colonists. Kind of figuring out where we left off here. So we have 4 biologists. I'm actually going to set this back to normal priority just so we can see better how things look. So it looks like our plants are staying pretty good here. What's this? Wheat pad? Perfect. Alright, so. And they are processing the metals and the bioplastics, which is perfect, because they've got all the metals for this lab done. So 5 more metals, and we'll have our multi-dome. Right now, the big holdup's the bioplastics. Which, until we get these wheat pads finished, it's going to be a little slow. But it's alright. We're going to have here 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 beds. So 6 beds is enough for 12 of our people to be sleeping at the same time. So we're going to need another dorm. So I might put another dorm over here.
Are you expanding your village?
This is my colony, and that's my kiddo in the background asking me about the game I'm playing. This is a game called Planetbase, bud.
Oh, is it where you make a colony on a planet?
Correct. You want to see it?
Sure.
So this is my colony I'm working on.
So are those your workers?
Yep, my workers and my bots.
So it doesn't show you, but you're working to expand your base.
Well, you're kind of like someone managing the base. You're not necessarily one of the people at the base there, bud.
I know, that's why I said it's not showing you.
Correct. There we go. The other thing I'm thinking about doing as an efficiency thing is we're going to build a pass-through there. That way they don't have to go all the way around when they're making deliveries with the food and stuff. There we go. These meteorites that are falling are going to be a real problem soon if we don't do something about it. The other thing I should really think about doing, we kind of need a water tower somewhere. I'd like to flatten this out. We can do that, but we're going to cancel that. We're going to do this again. So I'm using this trick to kind of like flatten this area out. You can also just use these base pads here to help flatten things out. But now let's see if we can get a large water tower. Here we go. Perfect. And so what we'll do is we'll connect that up there. And well, that's going to put a bit of a strain on my metal production right now. Metal production we're kind of fine on, because when we're sitting well on ores, it's really just needing people to process it. And once we get one more bioplastic there, that'll sort out the lab where we can start making our own medical supplies. And my thought process is I might put my other dorm off this way, because this area is not going to be really available for us to build through anyways, so throwing a little dorm off in this direction might not be a bad idea. Alright, so we got another trader selling medical supplies. 50% commission's a little high, though. But what we could do, since we are starting to get ahead on our vegetables a little bit, we'll sell them like 14 vegetables, and we'll buy a bunch of their coins here off of them. And basically, well, we won't get the best rate of return here because they're 50% commission. It will let us start stacking up a little bit of money for the future. So we'll get 47 bucks, and that's fine. There we go. And then that'll let us start building up towards better technologies. So let's see here. We have still plenty of water. We're going to want to expand our power productions here soon, too. It's one of those things you kind of got to stay on top of. You need lots of power production. The other thing that really helps is having a lot of carrier bots. That way your people aren't spending as much time doing manual labor. Alright. So one more bioplastic and the farm will be finished. Which will let us start stockpiling a bit of bioplastic and starch. Eventually I'll expand the processing center here so we can process things a little faster. But right now we just got to get this finished. How are we doing on deliveries? 6 more vegetables? Okay. There we go. We are making good progress though. As far as our base goes, statistics-wise, our welfare is excellent. We're making some prestige. We don't have any guards yet, but that's okay. Because again, we're going to have to eventually kind of change where we're building our landing stuff anyways. So we're going to keep building out this way. I don't know. Looks like this might be the edge of the map over here. I'm actually built in that direction. Oh well, hindsight's 2020. We'll make it work. Because what we can always do is we can always tear things down and lay it back out differently if we need to. Yeah, I'm going to need this guy to work faster making this bioplastic. Well, this person. E.G. Pratt. Make bioplastic faster. I think I will turn colonists back on for a second, see if we can't get a couple more biologists. Like 1 or 2 more biologists will really let us keep this farm in tip-top shape, I think. Okay, so they're going to finish that one up first. Interesting. Okay. So here are these asteroids over here. I think technically there's nothing that stops us from, say, building another entirely separate internal base like over this way anyways. There's lots of ways to build things in this game. Alright, so they finished the farm. That's all done now. How are our bots doing? Yeah, our bots are... They're slowly wearing out. So we're going to be out of bots soon. Alright, so there's the lab. That's all the parts we needed for that. Alright. I just need you to build the walkway there. Beautiful. Alright. So now we need a medical station. And if we wanted to get fancy, we could put in some lab-grown meat stuff, but I'm not going to do that right now. Because, as nice as that might be, it takes a lot of time from your biologist to do that. Alright, so we got another worker. I won't complain. Workers aren't bad. But realistically, I really need another biologist or two. And then I'm going to want guards soon. I might increase that to 5% there. That way, we'll probably get some guards soon. Because while the guards don't do a lot of productive work, they can do hauling around of goods. So you don't want them too early on, but you do need them for the long term. Alright, so we just need 5 more bioplastic to finish our multi-dome. Which does not include, you know, like furniture for said multi-dome. Probably wouldn't hurt for us to have one more. There we go. We'll do that. And one more. There. And that would get us a few more tables. That'll basically make our dining area better for our folks. We've got a trade ship. Oh, they've got bioplastic, and they've got the colossal solar panel. I love getting the colossal solar panel. This is a great tech. This is like the biggest, most effective. Oh, the commission rate on it is not bad. I don't have enough to buy it, but let's sell them a few more of our vegetables here. And let's see if we can't get a bioplastic or two. And I'll also buy an extra spare part. Because we're running a bit low. Can we get another one? No, we can't get two. Well, I mean, we could always throw in a couple extra vegetables, sweeten the deal here a little bit. We'll throw in just a couple more things, because I do want to get some of their coins, too. There we go. Alright. I tend to run large-scale farming in my colonies for trade goods, because pretty much everybody will buy food. And having lots of food production can be helpful, because one, it means your colony isn't going to starve. The other thing is, once we get, like, a little further along, one of the things we're going to build, and I'll probably end up building it down this way here next to the multi-dome somewhere, is basically a bar. And you can use vegetables to produce, you know, alcoholic beverages, which keep your people happy. Now, the real thing is, I am probably going to have to change this layout here. The other option I could do is if I build out this way, because this is a lot of space to build in over here. So I could figure this out. So I can finish building some of my colony down this way. And I could build like my visitor landing center kind of over here, I think. I think that might work. Because essentially I want to build it so that when you come into the colony, so when visitors come in and when, you know, new colonists come in, you know, they kind of have to go through a security checkpoint. And when I do that, I'll disable this landing pad just so it's not in use anymore. Okay, well, they built some of the stuff, but not the stuff I wanted them to build. Alright. We're getting there. We're getting there. Come on. How's my... Still need another biologist, and I still need... I really just need biologists at this point. Having an extra engineer or two would be nice too, but I didn't see how many workers do I have. I have 6. Okay, well, that should keep us in ore for now, because, you know, they're producing ore nicely. Oh, well, we got our water tower. There we go. So that'll basically help us avoid any shortcomings from our water production. The real question is, can the biologists get the plants turned around here? Alright, come on, guys. Alright, so they finished off the improvements to the cantina. So we now have seating for 8 people at once to eat a meal. And a bunch of food production. Alright, alright. What do we have here? We have a worker, a biologist, and an engineer. Okay. I'm sorry, it was a guard. Alright. A guard, a biologist, and an engineer. I'll take that. That's not a bad mix of people. Because that's one more biologist to keep our plants running. Which is currently the source of our trade. So let's take a look at this. So we could really use another biologist or two. But, alright, so let's see here. I'm trying to decide what's going to be my best next build. We've got a trade ship. They have a drill bot. A drill bot might be good. What's their commission? 55%. Yeah. I'm not... That's a lot. They also have the colossal solar panel. But we'll sell them a couple medical leaves for some of their money. What if I throw in a vegetable? Can I get... There we go. Alright. Not the best deal. That's the other thing I tend to grow a lot of, is like these medical plants. Because you can usually sell those for a decent amount too. But we're going to keep working up, get our coinage. And that's the other reason you kind of want to get your base set up to where you can have visitors come in. Because visitors basically come in and they'll eat your food and sleep in your beds and stuff. And then pay you a little bit of money for the time that they've spent here. I've got some more colonists. Let's see what kind they are. Got a worker and a biologist. Perfect. Alright, so we're probably going to stop letting colonists land for now. So we're at to 20, and we don't even have enough beds for them all. But that should give us enough biologists to kind of deal with our... Yeah, we have 6 biologists and 7 workers now. Yeah, sandstorm. That's fine. Don't care about the sandstorm. Work through it. That should give us enough biologists to kind of keep our farm running, which will let us keep our trade goods flowing. Is there some way for me to... Oh, this poor worker is cut out, and this poor engineer cut out in the storm there. It looks like it's clearing up, though. Perfect. Alright. So we are running a little low on vegetables. We have that extra biologist now. Yeah, they're starting to get ahead of this now, it looks like. Yeah. With 6 of them, they're staying on top of things nicely. Perfect. So now, oh good. So multi-dome's been built. Perfect. Okay, so our next kind of thing that we want to build. So we got two things we need. We're going to need one, an oxygen generator. So I'm going to connect to the multi-dome first. And then the other thing we're going to want is a new dorm. Come on. There. We're going to connect that to here. There we go. Alright. Because then we'll put some more beds in there. And that'll let us, you know, kind of sort out our sleeping situation, especially as we get more bioplastic made. And here we go. And the other thing we need bioplastic for is to make the medical supplies, which our medics will come in here and do. We are out of, like, starch. We are burning through the starches here. But the good news is we're still got our biologists getting caught up on everything. I'm not sure I actually want anything this trade should... Oh, they've got starches. How much do they want for that? Oh, those are expensive starches. No. I'm not paying a 60% commission on stuff. Go on. Phew. We are going to need another farm, though. Soon. Yep, there goes one of our bots. Yeah, we're definitely going to need another farm soon, though. Because we're starting to fall behind on vegetable and food production. Now, it could just be because we're stocking this new food maker I just made. So we have lots of food. Because I kind of like to get out of the food market until I'm, like, well, producing more than I need. Well, they're starting to suck a little bit, maybe. Yeah, it definitely looks like the botanists are starting to get this kept up nicely. And there goes our constructor droid. Where'd he die at? Let's see where he fell apart at. Oh, right there. Yeah. Alright. Now we just need one more. Yeah, I know about repairs. I got it. Okay, because the other thing we're going to need now is the factory, which we're going to put over here. I'm going back and forth about if I want to do the large factory or the small factory. Probably wouldn't hurt to have the large one. I'm going to connect that to there. That way they can pull parts right out of here. And we're good to go. Alright, beautiful. Okay, so this is ready. We need to build a few beds in here. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. There we go. That's 12 more beds. Once they get the bioplastic done. Alright. I'm probably going to want to put, like, another airlock somewhere on this side of the base. So they're not having to walk as far. Okay, we're out of spare parts. Do you have spare parts? You do. And your commission rate's not terrible. Ooh, he's got the driller bot patent. So, this driller bot patent will let you make your own drill bots once you get to the point where you're making your own bots. We're not there yet, because until we get the factory up and running, we can't even think about making bots. But let's see here. So he's got some spare parts. We do need his spare parts. It wouldn't be bad to have the construction bot, but I don't think we can really justify the price on that. We'll buy that. We'll buy the metals. We're going to sell him most of our medical plants. We'll sell 1 ore as well. And we'll fill in the rest with coin. Yeah, we'll take it. It's not a perfect trade, but that'll let us get some money and let us get the spare parts we need and a little bit of bioplastic and metal. Yeah, no, run out of medical supplies. We're working on it, game. Because a big concern is you don't want to run out of medical supplies because your miners take injuries almost constantly. Okay, good. We're starting to backstock a bit of vegetables, which is perfect. And 1 more medical leaf. Perfect. There we go. Alright, so that gets us some spare parts. Got some more bunks going in. So we've got 5 bunks, so 10 of our people can sleep at any one time right now. That's going to be bunk number 6 there, so that'll be 12. And it's fine to have about the right number of bunks for like half your crew. That way you can kind of keep like a 24-hour shift going by kind of basically having your people sleep in shifts. Not that you can control like the sleep schedule for your folks, but they'll kind of sort it out themselves. Or some are sleeping at night, some are sleeping during the day. So it's okay if you don't have bunks for everybody right off the bat. And it can be actually helpful if some of your biologists have night shifts and some of them have day shifts, because that way your biologists will keep the plants running in perfect condition at all times, basically. But there we go. So we've got some spare parts. I just need someone to go out there and get off the landing pad instead of leaving them out there. This is where I miss having the hauler bots. Okay, how we doing here? Still processing. I'd be tempted to shut down the mine for a little bit because we've got a bit of a backlog of ore. Okay, what's this trader got here? 55% commission. It's not great. We'll sell him a couple of things just because we do need to start sacking up a bit of cash. But we're only going to sell him like 5 vegetables and send him on his way. We'll make it 6 vegetables. 7? I'm just trying to get a nice even number. There we go, 7. Not the best commission, but it'll get the job done. Yeah, I just need them to get caught up on our parts here. Because once we get this extra oxygen generator, that'll be good. Because one of the things that can happen is if you've got a bunch of people sleeping in this dorm here, and it's too far from an oxygen generator, like this one up here, basically, the people in there will absorb too much of the oxygen and consume too much of it, and they'll start having problems. So it's kind of why you want to have strong oxygen generation throughout your base. Alright, there's that one. I really might need to put in a second bioplastic processor, I think. Which I actually think I will. See if we can't get 2 guys working on bioplastic at the same time here. Alright. Yeah, we're going to turn off the mine for now. That way the workers focus on processing things. because we got to get caught up on our bioplastic, which will let us start making medical supplies. And we got plenty of ore sitting around for them to make metal out of. And we also got to get this factory up and running so we can actually make spare parts. But this will basically force the workers, who are the guys who run these, to focus on just processing for now by turning off the mine. As well as force them to do things like hauling work instead of having the botanists or the engineers do hauling work, because the workers are fastest at hauling anyways. Here we go. We got another trader. Let's see here. Oh, he's got the Goliath wind turbine, which is really good. But he's got a 65% commission. Oof. Now, I might buy 1 or 2 spare parts from him, just because we can. See if we can get like 70 coins, a couple coins out of this guy. There we go. Just because we're producing so much in the way of vegetables. That guy was a terrible commission rate, but we're out of spare parts. We're also out of medical supplies. But there we go. There's the oxygen generator. How's this doing? We're still net positive on power, which is what we want. And the other thing we could do... Again, let me fit one in here. I can fit one over here. So I could do that. There we go. And that'll get us some more power generation. Just lots of future-proofing. Should really consider getting an airlock over here. So they don't have to keep going all the way around. Especially when there's sandstorms blowing in like this. Like, you can see it's hurting them. There we go. Or at least the sandstorm ended. Alright. How are we doing? 3 more bioplastic and we'll have the factory up and running. And there's the metal for the new wind turbine. Perfect. That'll let us stay on top of our power needs. Need these things brought inside, guys. Okay. We're doing good on beds. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over here, so that's 12. And 12 over here, so that's 24. So we got plenty of beds for everybody to sleep at the same time if they need to. Trying to figure out what all of our workers are doing. There's a lot of stuff for them to move around. There we go. Alright, perfect. So that's the last of the bioplastic we need for our construction projects at the moment. So we should be able to start backlogging a bit, which is the goal. Now we are going to have to get the mine back up and running soon. The other thing I'm going to do is connect to here real quick. And then we're going to edit this multi-dome. So we're going to want like television here. We're going to want like a water fountain or 2 here. Maybe some plants. And over here we're going to want like a couple treadmills. And we want like a couple pull-up bars so people can exercise. And then it's nice to have like a bench or two. Another plant. Throw like another water fountain there. There we go. Now, that's going to use up a lot of bioplastic, but the good news is that we keep our people super happy. Oh, here we can get the GMO tomato. This is another expensive bot. This guy wants so much. Man, these commission rates are rough. We'll sell him a couple of vegetables. Just so we get something, but, like... Good lord. The 65% commission rate's rough. Come on. I guess that's the best we can do. Alright. Well, there we go. But there. Alright, so now for our factory, the important thing is we're going to need a spare parts workshop. And... might not actually hurt to have, like, two, but we'll do one, and we're going to do a semiconductor workshop as well. And then eventually we'll want a weapons workshop, but we're going to wait on that. The main thing is we want the spare parts workshop. So we're going to... okay, good. They're starting to make medical supplies. Fantastic. So I want them to backlog medical supplies a little bit. What we can do is let's come into here to our sick bay. We're gonna add another bed real quick. There we go. Perfect. We're gonna turn the mine back on so that our workers can work, get us more metals, because we're running low on ore now. Well, once we get the spare parts factory up and running, see, now we're going to get to the point where we need to start going into our manufacturing limits. So spares, we don't necessarily want infinite, but we do want to have, like, say 20 around at all times. Semiconductors, we're going to have the same sort of thing. Guns, we're going to do the same sort of thing. And the medical supplies, we'll leave it infinite, because it's... well, we'll knock this down to, like, 50. That'll let us, you know, backlog things a bit. Especially once I finish these construction projects. But here we are. You can see they're working on the spare parts there. Okay, what's this guy got? He's got the super extractor, which that's for extracting water from the atmosphere. And what's his commission rate? 35. So this guy is going to be pretty good. So we're gonna take all his money. Hold on. I just like can shift click. There we go. We'll take all his money for vegetables, and then grab some spare parts too. Couple of those. Couple of those. We're just gonna sell them like 10 vegetables here. Alright. So we're actually gonna have to come down a bit, and we're gonna say knock off these here. And we'll knock off some vegetables. There we go. Alright, so if we knock off one more spare part, and a few vegetables. We'll knock off one coin. There we go. So that's a pretty balanced trade. So we'll sell him 27 vegetables, get all his money, 3 spare parts. There. Now the main thing you have to watch out for on these guys is they do have a limited number of slots on their ship. That's why you just can't sell them unlimited stuff. There we go. We got plenty of power coming in. Plenty of water. Now we just need to get parts to make our semiconductor factory. I just need my workers to keep processing materials. Yeah, we're working on it. As soon as you all finish trading with this guy, we'll get our spare parts back. Alright. So one thing I am going to do is I'm going to build another airlock over here. Yeah. There we go. It will rotate automatically. That way they can come out this end without having to, like, go all the way around. Alright. How are we doing? 2 more vegetables. 1 more vegetable. And we get our spare parts and money. There we go. Perfect. Alright. Very good. They're making some repairs. Where are they bringing that one? Looks like they're bringing that one in storage, so it looks like we have a small backlog of spare parts at the moment. Perfect. And we even have some in here that they've made. Now this does take a bioplastic and a metal, which is one of the things to keep in mind. Same with the semiconductors. Now the thing is, with this one you at least get 2, so it's technically 1 material to 1 spare part. This one, it's 2 to 1, so you get 1 metal and 1 bioplastic to make 1 semiconductor. The semiconductors get a little pricey to make. But as your population gets larger... What's up with this person? What's this person said? I don't know what that person said. There we go. What's this guy? Okay. What's your commission rate? 35. Okay. How much for a carrier bot? Uh-huh. I wouldn't mind a drill bot, but those are kind of expensive. So let's sell him. Let's sell this person a bunch of our medical plants. And a bunch of our vegetables. They kind of want to get all their money. Alright. But we also get a carrier bot this way, which will help out. There we go. Alright. So that'll help us out. Because the carrier bots, they handle things like taking stuff out to the ships. Moving things around. Very good to have. Alright, 1 more metal and we'll have that airlock finished. Okay, so someone should be working on making medicine soon. Yeah, so part of the reason the semiconductors are very important is because you actually need these to make bots. There we go. And there's our extra airlock for this end of the base here. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to build a connection between here and there. I like to have my connections interlocked like this. It makes moving around the base a lot more efficient for your folks. But we're making good progress. So now that we've got our factory running, we can start considering having... getting towards a bot factory, especially once we start backlogging a bit of spare parts and a bit of semiconductors. It looks like they haven't even started making semiconductors yet, because we're so behind on metal production. But what we could do is we could actually allow more colonists now. Because we could use a few more workers. Yeah, so if we can get some more workers, that'll let us continue working on metal production a little bit more. And we are going to have to look at building another farm soon. We probably want a couple more botanists for that. But we're getting there. We are getting there. Having extra medic or two as well would be good. What's this? What kind of trade ship are you? 40%'s not bad. So what we'll do is we'll see about buying a couple medical supplies. We'll sell you a few more vegetables here. There we go. There's that. A couple medical leaves. And we'll take some of your money. More vegetable here. There we go. There we go. We're starting to backlog a good bit of money. And we got some medical supplies, which is good because we're running out. Yeah, you can see we're up to 262 coins. If we look at our base statistics, our prestige is okay. Our welfare is excellent. So if we can get just a couple more workers and technicians, we'll be pretty good. There we go. There's a technician making some more spare parts right there. There they are. All right. Perfect. Oh, we're actually making our first semiconductors. Look at that. We definitely need more workers, though, because we're starting to hit a problem where we're not getting enough ore production. Oh, here we go. We got some more colonists. Let's see what kind of colonists they are. It looks like one worker and one engineer. They're kind of standing on top of each other. Nope, it's more than that. We also got a medic. Oh, perfect. That's a good mix for us. A worker, an engineer, and a medic. Nice. Okay, let's turn off colonists for a second. Well, actually, we'll turn them back on, because we could get one more worker. And one more worker would help us with our refining processes here. Because it'll also help keep our workers working in the mine and then working in our metal refinery. Because we're finally kind of on top of our bioplastic, which is good. We're doing good on power. It looks like we're doing good on water, too. Gotta have to keep an eye on food, though. Because obviously the more colonists you have, the more food you eat. So the more food you need to produce. But usually what I like to do with my second farm is I like to do nothing but low maintenance stuff. So mushrooms, you know, etc. What's this person got? They're selling vegetables. I kind of want the drill bot. I wouldn't want the constructor bot. It's like 200 bucks, or 230 bucks, though. So let's do that, and we're just going to take some of their money, because it's not the worst price. Like, they're not the worst commission we've got, but they're not great either. We'll just take a little bit of their money, send them on their way. Because we can make our own carrier bots once we start getting a bit of a backlog of semiconductors. Another thing I'm going to do real quick is we're going to go into our... Not this. We're going to go into our production limits here. And we're going to take guns down to like 15. 10. Because the guns require semiconductors, interestingly enough, in this setting. I guess they're like smart guns or something. I don't know. But there we go. So this is kind of how the game goes, and you slowly expand out. And again, your goal is to get to these different milestones. Like right now, we're trying to get to 100 prestige, which we can see we're at 44. And there are things we can do to like improve that. And one thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to throw down an extra bed. There we go. That way we have enough beds for everybody. Well, our newest bot just had its first breaking down. There we go. What kind of colonists we get today? Got another worker, another biologist. That's exactly what we wanted. Yeah, that was a guard. Never mind. The blue of the workers and the gray of the guards uniforms on the space suits look so similar. Alright, so there we go. How we doing on this? We're starting to stockpile a little bit of spare parts and stuff, which is good. Yep, got another injury though. At least we're making some more medical supplies. Ah, why'd you stop? Go finish making those medical supplies. You don't need a nap. I need you to make medical supplies. Oh, good. Someone else came and finished up. There we go. Alright. Now, see, if you... Ideally, what you really want is like 3 drill bots running these things here. We got another biologist and a worker. I think. Nice. Okay. I am going to turn off colonists, though, because we are starting to... We're going to start straining our food supplies if we're not careful. But we have 9 workers. That's enough to have 3 in the mines, 3 processing, and 3 doing other things. So that's perfect right there. It also means that even if one gets injured, there's one to replace them in the mines. Or whatever. So now, we just got to work on making sure we haven't overtaxed our food. We're also backlogging a nice amount of spare parts, which is really good. And our workers are constantly processing starch. And we might need another farm just to produce more starch, because they're starting to burn through the starch faster than we're producing it. Which is not a bad thing, to be honest. But I do want to get them a chance to maybe backlog some more building materials with this bioplastics and the metals. Because right now we are pretty stable. We can make our own spare parts. So we can basically do everything we have to do right now. We're producing, it looks like, enough food, because I think it looks like we're slowly increasing here. We've got just enough beds for everybody, I think. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 16. Plus 12. 26. 28. Yeah, we have exactly enough beds for everybody. Amazing. Alright. I just need my medics actually, like, treat this injured dude. That one's making some more medical supplies. There we go. There's medic treating that guy. So yeah, we're looking pretty good right now. Got the miners mining, processing materials. Very nice. We are making good progress. What's this ship got? Commission's still higher than I would like. So we'll sell them like 5 vegetables and send them on their way. Just so that we're kind of constantly stacking a little bit of money. There we go. Because ideally we do want to start trying to get the new technologies now. And that's going to require us to have a lot of trade goods. And then what the other thing we want to do eventually is we kind of want to expand out this way through this little gap and build our starport, which is the big version of this landing pad. And that'll let us start bringing in visitors that are going to pay for our goods and services, basically. You know, the problem is that's also going to mean we need to kind of set up our, guard posts and everything. But before we do that, we need to stockpile a bit more stuff. We're almost good on our spare parts, because what was my production limit on the spare parts here? Spares was 20, so we're getting close. We're at 12 out of the 20. So we're making progress on backlogging our spare parts. Then it's going to be semiconductors, and that'll let us start backlogging bioplastics and metals again. So that'll be good. Got another sandstorm blowing in. And yeah, we are still backlogging food. Now, running into a real problem with our production of starch, though. We are consuming it faster with our processing plant than we are making it with our farm. So what we could do... We're also starting to backlog a bit of ore, which is not the worst problem in the world. Oh no, a little bot broke down on us. One of our engineers eventually come by and fix the little bot. There he comes. Unfortunately, the bots do have limited lifespan in this game. They can only break down so many times and then they're done for good. There we go. But alright, so let's check our stats. So our welfare is excellent. We're gaining prestige. Sort of. It looks like we just lost one. Other things we can do to increase our prestige in the game. Like you can build signs and stuff. Why are we running low on water? What's going on here? I'm glad I built that, because let me notice that we're burning water at night, I guess. We're gonna have to expand our water supplies, I guess. Basically, unless I have to, I don't like dipping into like my backlog of power and water. Move 65%. Nope. We don't want that merchant. That merchant can leave. The main problem you run into is a lot of the merchants that sell the technologies you want when you want advanced technologies. They're going to have high commission rates. But alright. How are we doing? We're starting to backlog medical supplies a bit, which is nice. We still got plenty of storage in our large storage facility, which is why I like building the very large one, just right off the bat. There's actually an even larger storage facility you can get as a technology. The other thing, the reason you want these storage facilities is, stuff is not expiring in here. Like the vegetables and all, they'll last forever as long as they're in a storage facility. Good. We're making progress. So once we get a few more, because we were only 2 spares short of our production limit, and then it's semiconductors. As our techs wander off to go take a nap in the middle of production. But all right, we're going to pause it there, folks. We've made good progress. We are now fully self-sufficient. We technically don't need outside trade at all. We're producing spare parts, we're producing medical supplies, we're producing more food than we can shake a stick at. Well, I mean, not technically more food than we can shake a stick at, but this setup has now gotten us to where we have everything our colonists have to have. And at this point, it is now a matter of scaling up, increasing our production, increasing our housing, and pushing towards getting 300 colonists in another stable environment, getting a place where we can allow visitors to come in and visit, things like that. Oh yeah, now we're hitting our water reserves pretty hard here. I'm actually gonna have to fix that real quick. So we're gonna build another large. No, come on. There we go. We're gonna need another large water extractor there, just because our water reserves are dipping way too low at night. But anyways, so we've definitely got survival in hand. And the real problem now is expansion. These traders that are coming by are just awful. This has been Thalan McRom, continuing our planet-based playthrough. My goal in this series is trying to get all the milestones on this planet, and then we'll move on to the next planet, which is more difficult, has its own challenges. Which I've done before. It's just been a while. Like that one I don't remember. This one I've beaten this planet several times. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this content. Let me know in the comments what you all think. Do you like Planetbase? Are you excited about Planetbase 2? I'm excited about Planetbase 2 because I hope Planetbase 2 gets a little more granular. Like, I would love to be able to be like, this landing pad's for trade, this landing pad's for visitors. So I hope to see stuff like that in Planetbase 2. We'll see. But like and subscribe if you like this content, and we'll catch you all in the next episode. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.